Okay, a lot of stuff going on in pro wrestling right now. Not just in WWE, but a lot of things are going on all around the wrestling universe. But first of all, the main big thing that's popping off, or one of the more important topics of the day, is Bullet Club and WWE and their little beef, their little scuffle that they're having right now. Legal actions and two suites turning into one suite, and a lot of craziness, a lot of madness. WWE does look weak though for sending that cease and desist. I think that was garbage. That was bullshit. I don't like to curse a lot on this show, but you get the point. I thought it showed a sign of weakness. If you don't want to give Bullet Club any light or any attention, then don't give them attention. Why do a cease and desist, knowing that it's going to draw more attention to the Bullet Club? This is not helping WWE in no point at all. In no way, no shape or form is this helping WWE with them sending a cease and desist. What it's doing is making them look weak, and is making Bullet Club look more important. If WWE wants to give attention to a brand, then that's what they're doing at the moment. So I have to wonder, is this a setup for, are we being worked? Is this a setup for something else, something bigger? Is Bullet Club coming to WWE later on down the road, and we just don't know it? Because you never see WWE mentioning TNA. They don't mention Impact for nothing. But it seems like when it comes to Bullet Club, like they'll mention them. I think there was a pay-per-view where Corey Graves even mentioned Ring of Honor. So I'm wondering, is there some kind of backdoor situation happening here that we don't know about? I'm telling you, we could all be being worked here. If it's not, then WWE is just weak for sending that cease and desist. Because who cares? It's a too sweet hand gesture. You know what I mean? You're gonna. It's just stupid. Anyway, let's get into a little bit of what's going on in WWE. First of all, the TLC pay-per-view was saved by AJ and Finn Balor. I agree with most people. It was a good match. It was a great match. It wasn't the greatest match ever, but it had a big match feel, and they delivered. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. They took time. They really did take their time and build the match. They didn't rush anything. And then people have to remember, AJ flew from Argentina. I think WWE was doing a show in Argentina, but he flew back and did the work, put in that work, man. And then went to Raw the next night. But the TLC pay-per-view was, it was one to remember because Kurt Angle came back as a member of the Shield, which I wasn't a big fan of. I wanted the actual Kurt Angle to come back. He looked stiff, in my opinion, and I'm not trying to be, I love Kurt Angle. He's a great wrestler, but he looked stiff in the ring. You know, he didn't look. I just say he looked his age. You know, he looked like he was trying to be as safe as possible, which I'm not mad at. And you can literally see Braun Strowman trying to protect him, and just little things you can point out. But anyway, Kurt Angle's back. Who cares? You know what I mean? Who cares about whether he's stiff or not? It's Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's a legend. Kurt Angle is a great. Who cares if he's stiff or not? It's just good to see Kurt Angle back in the ring. And I think he's going to loosen up in the next time, this next match anyway. I think when he's comfortable back in his usual attire, Kurt will, look like somewhat of the old Kurt again. I thought that the main match was a little drawn out, to say the least. It was a little drawn out. It was sloppy. It was all over the place. There was a lot of things happening. There was a garbage truck for some reason. You almost couldn't tell who was going to win. It was just weird. A lot of weird things happening. The chairs being knocked down by Kane onto Braun Strowman. That was weird. I never seen anything like that before. And it was funny because Kane looked at the chairs before knocking them down. Almost like he said, do I really want to do this? What else happened? My goodness. A lot of other things happened, man. But trying to think what else happened here. Kurt leaves and comes back. They hit his actual music. But I was worried. I'm not gonna lie. I was worried for Kurt. I was really scared the dude might actually get hurt, get injured. I was just a little bit scared. I was a little bit nervous that he was gonna crack his neck or something. I didn't want them to do anything crazy. I mean, he came back at a tables, ladders, and chairs match. Of all places to come back, one of the most dangerous pay-per-views that there is. But what I'm interested in is how are people going to react when Roman Reigns actually comes back? Because Roman Reigns is supposed to be the most hated person in WWE. Everyone hates him so much. But yet they want to cheer for him when he comes back with the Shield. Which is what I said before. I don't feel like WWE fans or WWE haters, those Roman Reigns haters, they shouldn't be allowed to cheer for Reigns or the Shield. If you're going to boo Reigns in singles competition, then you should boo him in the Shield. So I feel like that's only right. It's only right. Because Reigns didn't do anything to anybody. You're mad because Daniel Bryan isn't wrestling? That has nothing to do with Roman Reigns. You're mad because Reigns won the Royal Rumble a couple of years ago and Bryan didn't win it? That has nothing to do with Roman Reigns. Reigns isn't the one calling the shots. So if you're mad at the system, be mad at the system. Don't take it out on Roman Reigns. So anyway, just some quick thoughts here as we get the the new show going and popping. I think that going forward, it's going to be really interesting because we all know that we're leading up to Reigns and Lesnar at WrestleMania. We all know that it's coming. The story behind it is, how do we lead up to this? What are we doing to lead up to this point? It's the real story, because now you have Brock versus Jinder Mahal, and Paul Heyman just absolutely killed and destroyed. He absolutely destroyed Jinder Mahal. I mean, I've never heard someone get destroyed the way Heyman just destroyed Jinder and just made fun of his character, and reminded people basically that I almost forgot that Mahal was a part of 3MB. You know, like I guess, you know, I'm not one of those people. I don't know. I just forgot about it. I forgot about the 3MB thing and how there was a time when Lesnar just destroyed all three of them like they were nothing. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Mahal and Lesnar. But all of this is just leading up to Lesnar and Reigns. Lesnar and Reigns. That's what this is all about. It's all about Lesnar and Reigns. Everything else is just a lead up, a setup, something that they're doing just to lead us up to this point. What else is going on? Oh, SmackDown beat the living dog piss out of Raw. And surprisingly, there was no retaliation the next night. Shane McMahon let it be known that security was on high alert, and they were. There was no retaliation whatsoever. I like the fact that people recognize that the whole SmackDown roster had turned heel. I like that. I like the fact that the whole entire SmackDown roster was heel. Like, there's actually a heel faction in this storyline. And Shane turned very evil on Kurt. He looked at him and he said, "Under siege." And they went in there and beat the dog piss out of him. But compared to the Raw roster, SmackDown looks very weak. Raw has all the big guys. Lesnar, Strowman, Reigns, even to a point Cena. Unless Cena comes back. I'm trying to think who else. But anyway, it just seems like all the big guys, all the big, you know, even Kane, all the big guys are on Raw. And the smaller guys, the smaller flippy guys like AJ Styles, they're on SmackDown. There's no real big guys on Raw, and even the big guys aren't really, you know, that intimidating. Like Baron Corbin, Rusev. If they had kept their characters in a meaner streak, you know, with a meaner streak, a meaner demeanor, then they would be actually capable of squaring off with Raw. But I just look at the SmackDown roster and I go, these guys are not that tough compared to Raw. Jinder Mahal, was Jinder even in on it? I don't even think Jinder was in on it. And he's one of the bigger guys. Then you have Randy Orton also, but still, they don't compare to the size of Raw. Speaking of Orton, Orton looks like he wants to turn heel so bad. You can look at his face, his facial expression. He is so bored with this face character, this baby face character. It doesn't fit him. He needs to turn heel. There needs to be a SmackDown Raw shakeup. And I hope it happens soon, because SmackDown is losing it, man. SmackDown is getting weak and weaker and weaker and weaker every week. They just don't have it anymore. It looked like WWE. It was so weird when they first did the brand split. SmackDown was so good. Now, it's like Vince McMahon saw that SmackDown was really good, and he just stripped them. And don't get me wrong, there's still the talent is still there. You still have Owens and AJ, but it's this Jinder Mahal thing is getting old. And I was in support of Jinder. I was one of those people saying, don't hinder the Jinder. I just thought it was funny having him as the champion. And I like the whole Maharaja thing. I like the character. The question is, what do they do with Jinder after they get rid of him? Excuse me, I said after they get rid of him. Wow. Well, maybe I'm foreshadowing something. Not after they get rid of him, but after he loses the belt. I said after they get rid of him. My bad. Ooh, it would be so. Hey, if this happens, if he loses the belt and then WWE gets rid of him, just remember you heard it here first. No, but I meant to say what's going to happen when he loses the title, because the title is everything that makes Jinder. Jinder doesn't make the title is making Jinder, if you understand what I'm saying. So some wrestlers are in a position where they can make the title bigger, and then there are other wrestlers that can make that the title makes them bigger. Like, for example, when Cena had the United States Championship, he made the United States Championship relevant. AJ Styles having the United States Championship makes the United States Championship relevant. The Miz has turned the Intercontinental Championship and made it relevant. And I have to ask, is he the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time? The Miz is the man. I'm telling you, man. The Miz is the man. He is the guy. He is listen, I could watch Miz cutting a promo all day. If they did a 30-minute, if they did an hour of the Miz cutting promos, I would watch the whole damn hour. That's how good this guy is. He is so talented to a point where, and he's even getting better at being a heel. And I didn't even think that was possible, because Miz is such a great heel. I didn't think he could get any better than what he already is. This guy is, he is not a 2017 wrestler. The Miz is cut off that old cloth of Ric Flair. Those old school heels, man, that swagger that he has with him. You know, the setting Reigns up with Braun Strowman, and then bringing Kane up and announcing that Kane is the 5th member. That's old school heel stuff, man. He is a perfect blend of old school heel with new school heel. He can drop a promo like they do now in the reality era of 2017 and make it the same as the old school heels do. This guy is tremendous. Enough can't be said. I think between the Miz and Y2J, they're probably the 2 greatest Intercontinental Champions of all time. But The Miz needs the belt, man. I'm sorry. The Miz needs the big belt. He needs to be Universal or WWE champion. I say bring him back to SmackDown, make him WWE champion. He needs it, man. He needs it. He has it. And I just feel like this guy is he's top notch, top star. So anyway, moving forward, Brock is going to kill Jinder Mahal unless WWE wants to book Mahal to look stronger. I don't know what they have plans. I know the belt got to come off him sooner or later. But Mahal and Brock, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some underhanded stuff. Don't sleep on this Survivor Series. It looks weak. Everyone's been getting on it. It looks very weak, but don't sleep on it because something big could happen. Sometimes when you have a weak card in a WWE pay-per-view, sometimes that's where your storylines come from. Something big happens. I could see a brand shakeup happening because this is a Raw versus SmackDown. Someone's going to turn on someone. I could see somebody from the SmackDown roster or the Raw roster turning and going to the other direction. So I'm not watching this pay-per-view for the matches, really. I'm going to watch it to see what kind of thing, what is WWE's thinking going forward. Because this is getting into WrestleMania season. You got to remember, once you get into Survivor Series, after that, everything is starting to make its way into WrestleMania season. So this is going to get interesting to see what's going to happen moving forward. All right? Till next time, I'm out. This is just a short little rundown, giving my opinions right quick. Next time, I'll give the full show.